A young man named Kiru hears a voice inside his head directing him to a star spirit, who grants him the halcyon eye power to see all creation. In a previous life, Kiru was a healing magician for the tyrannical kingdom Jiril, but his power forced him to endure the painful memories of those he healed. He was captured, abused, and forced to heal his captors in battle. In secret, he grew stronger, absorbing the experiences of his abusers and learned to use healing magic in unconventional ways. Eventually, he escaped, defeated a demon lord, and used her philosopher's stone to travel back in time 4 years in the past with the intention to get revenge on his abusers and bring down Jiril. With his past memories gained despite being warned that he could lose them, Kiru swears revenge on his main abuser, Princess Flair of the Jiril Kingdom, who has no memory of these events, senses his awakening and declares him the recovery hero. He is brought to the kingdom where they meet Proem, Flair's father and the king of Jiril. Deciding not to blow his cover until Proem is gone due to how powerful he is, Kiru takes advantage of the maids in the royal household who have bed exercise with him. Kiru regenerates the amputated arm of grateful swordswoman Kureha, but pretends to pass out. Flair callously orders the court magician to gain control of Kiru, no matter how torturous the method. Confirming Flair is still as cruel as she was previously, Kiru begins planning his revenge. Pretending to be afraid of absorbing painful memories, Kiru swears never to heal again and pretends to allow Flair to imprison and get him addicted to drugs, even allowing himself to be abused to further fool her. Flair begins forcing Kiru to heal injured warriors, while Kiru secretly copies magical abilities from them. When Proem is absent and Kiru becomes immune to drugs, he uses his stolen abilities to escape and disguise himself as Leonard, Flair's imperial commander, having subdued the real Leonard and altered his face to resemble his own so that he gets captured and thrown into the dungeon in his place, and, once alone with Flair, removes his disguise and heals away her ability to use magic.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Rendering her defenseless and unable to walk. After repeatedly breaking then healing her fingers, Kiru gives Flair his rod before he heals her in order to alter her appearance and memories. After healing a dead bodyguard's face to look like Flair, Kiru frames Leonard before he escapes with the real Flair, tricking the entire kingdom into thinking that Flair was murdered. Kiru decides to target his other abusers, Bullet and Blade, before seeking out the demon lord he previously defeated to find out what she had been trying to protect when she died. With Flair now an amnesiac, Kiru renames her Freya, convinces her she is his servant and lover while he changes his face and takes the hero named Kiarga the healer, leaving his weak name Kiru behind. Kiarga then massages her, despite not being able to remember her past, pledges allegiance to Kiarga. Kiarga decides he and Freya must leave the city. However, he also learns that Norn, Flair's younger, sadistic sister, is returning to the city, having left sometime prior to Kiarga's arrival in the kingdom, and he is determined to avoid her. Kiarga has a nightmare of his previous life. Every night, Flair would force him to pleasure her. Second, the sword heroine, Blade, would beat him for touching Flair before sexually assaulting him since she could not sleep with Flair herself. Finally, Bullet, the gun hero, would violently clap him, claiming to love him before choking him unconscious. They later arrive at Lanarita, a lawless city dominated by criminals who prey on the poor. With halcyon eye, Kiarga detects the town's water is contaminated, making whoever drinks it sick. Using his own antibodies, Kiarga creates a cure from his blood and sells it to a merchant, promising to continue making more in exchange for half the profits. He next visits a slave trader and purchases a female ice wolf demi-human, noting that her rage has kept her conscious despite being infected and is interested in what will happen once she gets revenge against whoever she hates so much. Kiarga examines the girl's memories and learns she wants revenge against the Jiril kingdom because they are planning to take her village as slaves. Knowing the girl, Setsuna, has no warrior abilities, Kiarga offers to make her stronger using a skill stolen from another hero, but requires her true name to do it. Setsuna agrees, even though knowing her true name will give him control over her. To prove he can make her stronger, Kiarga has to massage her. Making their way to Setsuna's village, they find Jiral's soldiers torturing prisoners. Kiarga disguises himself as a sword hero and kills them while Freya gives him covering fire. Setsuna gets revenge by killing the soldier who enslaved her. Afterward, Kiarga shows Setsuna that the ice wolves poisoned the water and gives her a choice: either make the poison strong enough to kill every human in Lenarita or replace the poison with medicine. Setsuna chooses the medicine. And Setsuna willingly tells Kiarga her true name. In Jiral, Norn returns and reveals that Kiarga altered Leonard's face to look like him to cover up his escape. Believing that Flair was murdered, Prome orders Leonard to find the real Kiarga. Kiarga returns to Lenarita, where the merchant attempts to force Kiarga to reveal the formula for the cure so he can get the profits alone. Kiarga gives him a fake formula, pointing out to his companions that with the contaminated water cured, the illness will go away anyway. Kureha appears and challenges him, believing that he attacked the Jiral soldiers at Setsuna's village unprovoked, unaware of what the soldiers were really doing. Freya tries to help, but is quickly overpowered. After a grand sword battle, Kiarga douses her with an aphrodisiac and then, after she slices his arm off, regenerates his arm and heals her mind to share the memories of the soldiers' atrocities against Setsuna's village, causing her to pass out. When she wakes up, he reveals he is Kiru, the one who healed her arm, then brings in Freya, whom he told to pretend to be Flair in order to convince her that he is telling the truth. Flair tells Kureha that Jiral is corrupt and Kiarga faked her death to save her life after Leonard found out about their scheme to expose Jiral's crimes, making Kureha realize that she was fighting on the wrong side. Struck with remorse over her mistake and exposed to the aphrodisiac again, Kureha offers her body and Kiarga massage it. She falls in love with him and he gloats that she will now do whatever he says. Meanwhile, Leonard is on their trail. Freya and Setsuna become increasingly jealous of Kiarga and Kureha's relationship. The group learns troops led by Leonard have captured the inhabitants of Kiru's village. Kiarga sends Kureha to investigate, then disguises himself and infiltrates Leonard's squad. When he learns Leonard had tortured and violated his childhood friend, Anna, an enraged Kiarga captures Leonard and transforms him into a woman before having his brainwashed squad abuse him, then kills them all by setting the room on fire. Kiarga finds Anna and tries to heal her, but she succumbs to her injuries. Distraught, Kiarga claps Freya and Setsuna for solace. Kureha returns and reports that the villagers will be publicly executed for supporting the recovery hero and that Norn has returned from abroad. Kiarga is wary of Norn as he remembers how she was more competent and manipulative than Flair. When the public execution begins, Kiarga reveals himself to save his villagers. Kiarga begins to slaughter the executioners and does not stop even when they start killing the villagers. The executioners try to use a magical barrier to drain his strength, but Freya reverses the effect. Kiarga learns the villagers were fed poison earlier, so they were already dying. He is only able to save one boy. Freya reveals herself, pretending to be Flair, and reveals the corruption in Jiral, causing the audience to turn on the executioners and kill them. Aware the boy blames him for everything that happened to the village, Kiarga tells the merchant to care for him. Kureha leaves to continue spying on the kingdom and warns him that Norn and her army are headed for the city of Branica. Kiarga notes that Norn never went to Branica in his first life. Meanwhile, Norn learns that Flair is still alive and is now working with Kiarga. Kiarga decides to go to Branica as well because the Demon Lord will be there and he wants to meet her again. Along the way, they make camp and Freya says she will kill anyone who stands in his way, causing Kiarga to realize that excluding her devotion to him, her personality is not that different from Flair's. Freya's incredible power causes her magic staves to eventually break, so Kiarga decides they will one day have to acquire divine weapons that can handle it. The party arrives at Branica, where humans and other races live in harmony unlike in other places. At a restaurant, they meet Ivris, the demon lord whom Kiarga met and defeated in his first life, but she is less powerful and her hair is black instead of silver, unlike he remembered, causing him to realize she is not yet the demon lord. She is a member of the Blackwing tribe, whom the current demon lord ordered to be eradicated. Bounty hunters attack her and she is hit by a paralyzing arrow, but Kiarga's party rescues and heals her. While hiding out, Kiarga explains to Eve that he met her in the future and she will become the Demon Lord, offering to protect her until she claims her destiny. She does not believe him but agrees to stay with the group. Later that night, Eve wakes up and is embarrassed to find Kiarga having morning exercise with Freya and Setsuna right in front of her. Kiarga invites her to join them and taunts her to prove she is a grown-up. Eve turns down Kiarga's offer, but he, Freya, and Setsuna scold her. Kiarga says once she becomes the Demon Lord, he wants the Philosopher's Stone and for her to secure peace between humans and demons. While discussing their combat capabilities, Eve explains she can summon the legendary, disease-spreading bird, Caladrius, but she will have to endure several trials, including traveling all around the world, to make it obey her. Kiarga disguises himself and scouts the city, but a bounty hunter recognizes him due to his scent, forcing Kiarga to kill him. Kiarga returns and massages Freya and Setsuna. Embarrassed, Eve leaves the room, but, aroused and touched herself, so Kiarga notes it is only a matter of time before she gives into his advances. Kiarga and Setsuna track down the bounty hunters and massacre them. As payback for them destroying the restaurant, they leave the survivors in a pit to be devoured by a beast. Freya buys a magic staff and Kiarga improves it. When he improves the other staves in the store, the owner gives him some money back and a mithril sword. Kiarga is furious when Norn, her army, and Blade arrive in Branica. Kiarga retreats when he notices Norn and Blade are accompanied by a powerful knight named Hawkeye. That night, Blade abuses and tortures a girl. Kiarga sells some potions to Carmen, the store owner, who warns him about the girl's fate. Kiarga decides to use himself as bait, transforming into a woman named Kiara. At a pub, Blade is enticed by Kiara and offers her a drink. Blade transfers a sleeping potion via a kiss and Kiara pretends to pass out. While Blade carries her to her hotel, the father of the girl whom Blade abused attacks her, forcing Kiara to knock him out to save his life and then fight Blade. However, Blade's sword, Ragnarok, enhances her strength and allows her to heal from injuries. Kiara is knocked out cold and later wakes up tied to Blade's bed. Blade prepares to massage her but is horrified to discover Kiara has a rod.
Surprise!
Kiara breaks her bonds and stabs Blade with a poison dagger. Blade attempts to grab Ragnarok to heal herself, but is stabbed again and passes out. Kiara declares it is time for revenge. Kiara reads Blade's memories and learns Norn plans to attack Branica in 3 days. After paralyzing Blade's legs, he forced Blade to satisfy 3 brainwashed men until morning. She can't and then they kill her, causing Ragnarok to revert to a gem. After reverting to his true form, Kiarga meets Trist Organ, aka Hawkeye, who is a Geralt knight with powerful skills. Hawkeye is impressed by the potions he sold to Carmen and invites him to join his army, but he declines. Realizing Hawkeye is too powerful for him, Kiarga connects with the gem to form a new weapon. It transforms into a clawed gauntlet called Georgius that can heal the user's injuries. On the 3rd day, Norn becomes tired of searching for Blade and dismisses her as worthless. Accusing the demons of Branica of brainwashing humans into accepting them, Norn commands her army to kill everyone. Kiarga is furious when Carmen is killed and begins to slaughter the soldiers. Norn and Hawkeye are shocked when Freya, pretending to be Flair, projects a giant hologram of herself in the sky. Freya says non-humans are not the enemy and asks the soldiers to stand down, which they do. As Norn and Hawkeye express confusion, Kiarga breaks in and battles Hawkeye. Despite being equally matched, Kiarga successfully kills him, then knocks out Norn and imprisons her in an underground cellar. Afterward, he reads her memories and learns she was responsible for Leonard attacking his village. He expresses his anger towards her for the destruction of his village and the deaths of his friends. He drugs Freya into acting like a dog, then promises if she can withstand Freya pleasuring her without reaching climax until morning, he will release her. Norn fails the challenge, so he claps Freya and Norn in the same time. He then erases and alters Norn's memories and appearance and turns her into Ellen, his little sister who is in love with him. Kureha arrives and Kiarga introduces Ellen. Kiarga celebrates with girls while Eve, never mind. He decides his party will travel until they can help Eve tame Caladrius, but pauses to lay flowers on Carmen's grave, saying he avenged him and Anna. With Jiril now in disarray following Leonard, Blade, and Hawkeye's deaths and Flair and Norn's supposed murders, a vengeful Proma signs Bullet to stop Kiarga, and Bullet is eager to rape him again. Kiarga realizes he is starting to care for his girls, but decides he will never know peace until he gets revenge on Bullet and put an end to Jiril's tyranny.